All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new DC update, and I hope everybody is having a wonderful Christmas. I figured I'd get a Christmas Eve video out for you guys because it's been a while since I've done a video. I have been spending the time recuperating and learning how to live without using part of my body. So it's been a challenge, but I am back with an update for you today, and boy, James Gunn just keeps sticking his foot in his mouth, and he cannot keep his mouth shut when it comes to Superman, and he is starting to alienate a portion of the audience. And there was a surprising show that got renewed that we're going to be talking about today, so we have plenty of things to cover. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, I have been doing a lot of trolling on social media in regards to this Superman trailer because, as you guys know, I think this is a very mid trailer. I've changed some of my thoughts on this, so I think maybe later today or tomorrow I may throw a new video up on my thoughts on the trailer rather than re-upload the one that I had, because I've changed my mind on a few things and there's a few things I want to talk about. But the one thing that everybody talks about is how this trailer brings a lot of optimism and hope back into DC. And it's funny because every shot of Superman, he's either beat down like this or he's got something horrible is happening. He's getting cans thrown at him and other things. So every time somebody would post these, I would share them on Twitter and say, this picture oozes so much optimism and hope. And the trailer is so mid. There's nothing amazing about the trailer by any stretch of the imagination. Some people are just, the music is what did it. And that's the one thing I changed my mind on. And we'll talk about that in an upcoming video. Now, I was happy to see this. It says, James Gunn says that Superman has largely shown nothing from the movie. A lot of the trailer is in the beginning. I think he means in the beginning of the film. There are a couple moments that are from later in the movie. And they're showing one of the more cooler shots from the trailer. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We got to see why he's being kind of held captive there and why he has to struggle to break through some glass there. It has been revealed via James Gunn that DC Studios' Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, will begin filming next month. So January of 2025, they do start filming the second film in the DCU. So here we go. James Gunn politicizes upcoming Superman movie, saying bloodied hero represents our country. Now, this is a very dangerous stance to take when you're trying to promote your film. We don't need to know the filmmaker's politics. When you know James Gunn, you know his politics. You can see that he's alienating over 50% of the United States by making a statement like this. Because for the other 50%, it looks like something else entirely. And it can be taken both ways. He's better off just letting this be ambiguous and not even mentioning anything like that. Because this is supposed to be a hero's journey, not something that represents our country. And again, we'll see if he even says in the movie, and the American way, because they tend to want to cut that kind of stuff out and not represent the U.S. very well at all during films. And so hopefully he is not going to politicize this further, and he really needs to keep his mouth shut. He really does, because you're going to piss off a huge portion of your audience. So here's some more dates. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and Clayface will start filming in January. I guess both films are. Now, I had heard that Clayface might start later in the year, but it says Supergirl will release June 26th of 2026, and Clayface will release September 11th of 2026. They will be the second and third feature films to be released by DC Studios. Now, I want to point something out about this, okay? Clayface was never in the original slate of movies, and they did say they had other things to announce. And James Gunn came out and had to correct and say that they are not going to move forward with any projects or greenlight anything until they have a script that is worthy of the name DC. Now, what's funny about this is Clayface came out of nowhere. And again, I've given you my feelings on that in regards to the Batman 2. And it's crazy. We're going to see a comment that James Gunn made in regards to Clayface, and also that Clayface movie will release shortly before or after, I believe it's after the Batman 2, which I don't think the Batman 2 is going to meet its release date. But with everything that's changing and these other things popping up, it's very convoluted. And he actually made a statement, and I don't know if I copied it in the set of pictures that I'm going to show you. But if it's not in here, I hope I'm going to remember to talk about this at the end of the video. But it has to do with the main heroes in the DC universe. Well, this comes directly from James Gunn himself, and I am surprised because the viewership is not as good as they were hoping for. But he says, you wanted monsters? Well, you're getting even more. We're coming back for season 2. But don't worry, we've still got plenty left this season for you. Catch new episodes of Creature Commandos every Thursday, with the season 1 finale dropping January 9th exclusively on Stream on Max. Again, it's his project. Of course, it's going to move forward. You fail upwards at Warner Brothers. Okay, here is what I'm glad I grabbed this, because this is what I wanted to talk about here. James Gunn says they're holding a beat on development for The Flash. Somebody said, is Clayface officially the third DCU film? Why didn't you choose to do a more prominent character first, like Flash or Wonder Woman? James Gunn responded with, because of the #1 rule here at DC, no movie will be greenlit before the script is ready. And the script for Flanagan's script for Clayface was ready. And as for The Flash, we're holding a beat on development, which means it's on the back burner. They really should not be doing anything other than their main heroes to begin with. I'm sorry. This whole thing seems very convoluted with what's actually been announced and what's actually happening. And I'm glad that the Green Lantern show is moving forward, but I still have fears about that show as well. The one show that, should be fantastical and have to do with space. They're keeping it here on Earth, and they're making it more grounded, which goes against everything that Green Lantern should stand for. So I have a lot of fears about the Green Lantern show. Basically fears about anything that he's doing for DC, because he seems to want to do all the funky stuff first. Now, this is also very interesting. James Gunn asked Zack Snyder about putting trunks on the Superman suit. I even talked to Zack Snyder about it. He said, I tried like 1 billion versions with the trunks and just never got there. And I said, I see how that's the case. Now, I could tell you that he does not have the red trunks on when he is mourning what looks like to be the death of this robot, which could be like Kelex or something. I'm betting that takes place in the Fortress of Solitude. That's my guess. Again, so much hope and optimism in that photo. But I digress. What's crazy about this is everyone knows the trunk doesn't work. And I am not liking the excuse that they gave that they did it to, so kids wouldn't be scared. No kid has ever been scared by the Superman costume, period, ever. It's one of the reasons why Superman is so popular amongst kids and adults. It's a suit that grabs you. It's recognizable. There's nothing scary about it. Having David Corenswet be muscular and actually show off his physique, it's like they're wussifying Superman. And there's no reason for it. Superman needs to be strong. And it's crazy that Zack Snyder was trying to show, and he didn't even write those movies, by the way. So the people that wrote Superman were trying to show some vulnerability and have him come into the character he was supposed to be, but he was still much more of a man. And now we're getting kind of a wussified version of Superman, and they're using this excuse that they didn't want to scare kids. And that's the only thing they could do to explain away the trunks. Because it doesn't work. It does not work in modern cinematic terms. It just doesn't. Some things will never translate right, and that is one of them. Now, this was also very interesting. This has to do with the score of Superman. James Gunn about managing the Superman score with composer John Murphy. The one thing I'll say is I do want to use the classic Williams score, but I want you to turn it and mutate it and turn it into your own thing that represents this film and this story. I can't wait for people to hear the whole thing, because it does go into the whole Williams thing, and then it transforms into something else, and then it becomes something else again. And it is. It is a stunning piece of music. I can't wait. All right, guys, so there you have it. What are your thoughts on Creature Commandos getting a season 2? What are your thoughts on the Superman suit now that he even admits the trunks don't work, but he decided to use them in his movie and came up with that weird excuse? What do you guys think about all these things happening? Clayface coming out before any of the other major characters, kind of out of left field. It all does seem very convoluted, and I just have a lot of fears. I don't think this universe is going to grab the general audience the way they think it does, and we'll see when Superman comes out. But just because the trailer had a lot of views doesn't mean a lot of people liked it, and we're going to see what happens when that gets released in July. But I'm betting, I would bet it's not even going to make the same money that the Batman did. I'm betting 500 million or less. That's my guess at this stage. All right, guys, we will see you on the next update.